Next up, Superintendent's announcements and spotlights, and I believe we have Mrs. Bradford.
Thank you, Chairman Williams. Dr. Newman, good evening, other members of the board tonight, and also good evening to everyone that is gathered here for our board meeting this evening. I would like to begin our spotlights and announcements with a very special presentation for two of our Manassas City Public Schools employees. During the Virginia ESL Supervisors Association conference held in Portsmouth, Virginia on January 31st, Manassas City Public Schools had two outstanding educators receive recognition for their work in supporting English language learners. So at this time, as our board members join us down front, I'd like to call Ms. Megan Moore, Director of Federal Programs, as she was awarded a Distinguished Service Award. Ms. Moore serves as the Vice President of VISA and oversees the ESOL program at Manassas City Public Schools. Additionally, Laura Perez Ruiz, an ESOL teacher at Baldwin Intermediate, received the Visa Excellence in Education Award. So why don't you come on down? To note that VISA promotes the academic achievement of English language learners in pre-K through 12, and we want to congratulate each of you for representing Manassas City Public Schools so well. Thank you so much.
Don't make the chairman move. They want to make them good.
All right. Congratulations. Thank you. All right. So the week of February 17th through the 21st was designated as School Board Clerk Appreciation Week in the state of Virginia. Clerks have a tremendous amount of responsibilities as they serve the school boards, and boards would not be able to do what they do if it were not for them. So please allow me a moment to read the Governor's proclamation regarding School Board Clerk Appreciation. Whereas school board clerks in each locality throughout the Commonwealth are appointed to fulfill their duties and responsibilities, and whereas school board clerks are responsible for keeping accurate records of the meetings and proceedings of the local school board, a record of all receipts and disbursements, and a record of all official acts, and whereas school board clerks perform other duties in connection with the school business of his or her locality as may be required by the school board, and whereas school board clerks maintain frequent contact with the public, including parents, employees, and the media on behalf of the school board and superintendent, and whereas school board clerks in the performance of their duties are often required to work extra hours attending school board meetings, and whereas school board clerks ensure that students achieve to their highest potential and provide an invaluable service for school board members and superintendents. Now, therefore, I, Ralph S. Northam, do hereby recognize February 17th through the 21st, 2020 as School Board Clerk Appreciation Week in our Commonwealth of Virginia, and I call this observance to the attention of all of our citizens. So at this time, the school board would like to present tokens of appreciation to the clerk of the board, Mrs. Alba Garza, and Lee Miller, deputy clerk of the board. Thank you, ladies. Yes, you all can have a seat. Also,
Yeah,
as
don't
they
wait for them. We'll be
take
here
their
all night
seats.
long.
Each year, the Virginia School Boards Association marks February as School Board Appreciation Month. Currently, there are approximately 850 school board members in Virginia, and we are honored to have 7 dedicated ones here in the city of Manassas. At this time, I would like to read the proclamation or portions of it issued by the governor in honor of School Board Appreciation. Whereas the education of Virginia school-aged children is the foundation upon which the economic, social, and intellectual strength of our Commonwealth is built, and whereas locally elected and locally appointed school board members play an important role in our representative democracy, as the decisions of local school boards directly influence instruction in Virginia public schools, and whereas this year's theme, Excellence Through Equity, reflects the top priority of local school board members as they advocate for the public education with local, state, and federal leaders. And whereas the Commonwealth of Virginia is proud of our education system and appreciates the efforts of local school board members to make the Virginia public school system an excellent place in which to educate our youth. Now, therefore, I, Ralph S. Northrum, do hereby recognize February 2020 as School Board Appreciation Month in our Commonwealth of Virginia, and I call this observance to attention of all of our citizens. And so tonight, in honor of School Board Appreciation and to honor the work that our board does, on behalf of the students and staff of Manassas City Public Schools, our principals and their teams have prepared some special presentations to spotlight the things they are most proud of in their buildings. And so we will start with our elementary schools in the following order: Baldwin Elementary, Jenny Dean Elementary, Hayden Elementary, Round Elementary, and then Weems Elementary. Got it, okay. And I would like to ask that all of our groups would remain until the conclusion of the presentations, and we'll take a group picture with all of the board members with our presenters tonight.
Good evening, Chairman Williams, Dr. Newman, other members of the board. Tonight, we are here to thank you for your service to Manassas City Public Schools. We are excited to share with you some highlights from our STEM program and the learning your support has made possible. I am joined by Jen Mullen, our STEM coach, Susan Mayo, our PLTW and PBL coach, Ashley Slaney, our ITTS, Stacy Armstrong, our assistant principal, and Jen Metcalf, our math coach. We stand together as the instructional leadership team of Baldwin, united in our commitment to teaching problem solving through integrated content using the tools of the future.
Our journey began in a self-contained STEM lab program where we defined the specific innovator skills that our Baldwin students needed to be successful. Next, we implemented Project Lead the Way and PBL at the same time to bring real-world problem solving within the framework of Tier 1 instruction. Over the 4 years we have enjoyed our new Baldwin building, our program has broken free from the constraints of the STEM lab. Currently, we have reimagined our STEM program to include a wide range of instructional experiences for staff and students that marry all components of STEM to all other content areas.
We want to model for our teachers the bridging of integrated content and 21st century skills. We want our students not to just be consumers of technology, but involved in the creation of artifacts that capture their learning.
Tonight I want to share with you about the awesome technology-driven cross-curricular learning happening in our Innovator Space. The Innovator Space at Baldwin is a co-teaching space where Susan, Ashley, and I collaboratively plan and work with teachers on ways to incorporate language arts, math, science, social studies, and PLTW modules into engaging, technology-enhanced experiences. The intention is not only to provide meaningful instruction to students, but also to model for teachers how to facilitate student-led inquiry and peer collaboration. This year, all Baldwin students, K through 4, have had lessons in the innovator space that incorporate coding, robotics, and technology. These lessons were a combination of those collaboratively planned with teachers and PLTW computer science modules. As I begin to highlight some of the students' experiences this year, please take note of the listed language arts and math skills that are also embedded into each experience. In kindergarten, students explored story elements and retelling through the steps of the engineer design process with the well-known character Humpty Dumpty. Students participated in hands-on engineering projects focusing on measurement, structure, and stability. Students also rotated through 3 technology-driven activities, including creating a Scratch Junior program where they designed and coded their own Humpty Dumpty to move up and over a wall. First graders used Dash robots and Blockly coding language to teach their classmates about animals and their habitats. They created habitat models and used their research to create scripts for Dash to share facts about their animal as the bot moved around the habitat. First graders also explored their pair programming skills in a PLTW computer science module focusing on animated storytelling. They learned about algorithms and used Scratch Junior to create an animated story highlighting the character's problems and providing a solution. Second grade students have also explored storytelling with Scratch Junior. The focus was not only in coding, but also oral presentations. Students wrote stories that went along with their coded program and presented them to the class. Second graders in the after-school coding club also learned about Blockly programming and coded Dash bots to make their way through an obstacle course. Third grade students participated in a PLTW module focusing on interactive stories. Students used Scratch programming to create a story with multiple endings. Students coded the program to have different choices throughout the story the user could make to change the ending. Third graders also participated in a social studies-based lesson focusing on the geographical features of North and South America. Students created maps of their continent and then used Blockly language to code a Dash bot to travel around the map and give a tour of geographical information of the continent. Students later converted their factual research into a fictional story about their robot and presented to their class. In fourth grade, students participated in a PLTW module focusing on reaction time, data collection, and graphing. Students learned Tinker coding language and coded 3 different reaction test programs for their classmates to use. Students collected data on their classmates as they tested their programs and then analyzed the data using graphs and charts. Fourth graders in the after-school coding and robotics clubs also coded a Dash bot to travel through a maze. They used conversions and non-standard measurement to find creative ways to code the robot. In the coming weeks, these students will also begin using 3D modeling programs. Thank you for allowing me the time to share some of the amazing things our students are doing in the innovator space. We truly enjoy planning for and watching our students engage in these meaningful learning experiences at Baldwin.
Sir Ken Robinson reminds us, our task is to educate their whole being so they can face the future. We may not see the future, but they will. Our job is to help them make something of it. Thank you so much for your time and attention and your support.
Why don't you guys just kind of line up right here? Stand right next to each other. All right, good evening, Chairman Williams, members of the board, and Dr. Newman. In thinking about what makes me thankful to be a principal and to be a principal at Jenny Dean, it's what we get to see every day. It's our students creating, and it's our students being proud of themselves and being able to show off their work. So I thought, what better opportunity tonight to bring that to you guys. So I was excited to tell you about this really great activity that these students before you participated in earlier this school year. And then I listened to them practicing their story, and I thought, you know what? They tell it better than I do. So without further ado, take it away, Sam.
Good evening, members of the school board, Chairman Williams, and Dr. Newman. We are the Super Lego City Dolphins from Jenny Dean Elementary. I am Sam.
I am Aaliyah. I am Adrian. And I am Dana. We are here to tell you about our Lego Robotics Challenge. Our challenge was to design a solution to a problem with a public space or a building in our community?
First, we thought about our community and where things might be improved. The place we picked was an intersection near our school between the north-south community, where many of our families live, and the Wellington Shopping Center, where many of our families walk to get groceries, food, or cross even for recreational purposes. There is a traffic light there at the intersection, but sometimes the light turns green and our families are still walking with stores and groceries. If cars are not paying attention, it could be dangerous for families who are left drunk from crossing the street. It also causes drivers to have to wait even after the light turns green.
Our first idea was a pedestrian bridge. We thought if we could build a bridge over the intersection, then cars could move through the intersection, and at the same time, people could still cross the street. We invited a couple members from the Grand City Planning Commission to hear about our ideas for the intersection. Ms. Chloe and Ms. Kelly also brought some additional ideas for us to consider, such as 1, pedestrian tunnel, 2, traffic calming, and 3, roundabout. After hearing the suggestions, our team voted on a pedestrian tunnel because it seemed to be a cheaper option. Next, we invited a whole panel of city planning officials to hear about our idea. We received some great feedback. They told us some things to consider when doing a project like this, such as 1, weather concerns, doing a tunnel versus a bridge. 2, safety of a tunnel. Is it well lit? Can you see from one side to the other? 3, what could we put in the tunnel to make it a more inviting place to walk? Have murals or painted gates. 4, underground water pipes. The city planning officials liked our idea and that we were interested in improving our community. Finally, we turned our ideas and findings into a skit and presented it to the LEGO judges at our annual first fall LEGO Week robotics competition last fall.
Thank you.
So what is PBL? Project-based learning, or PBL, is a teaching method in which students learn by actively engaging in real-world and personally meaningful projects. This evening, we have some smart students here from Hayden Elementary to talk a little about their PBL experiences this year.
Projects this year have included learning about past and present, shapes the region of Virginia, matter, citizenship, ancient Greece and Rome, pushes and pulled the Civil War.
Second grade students created a symbol to represent good citizenship. We planted and designed our symbols with Tinkercad and made them with a 3D printer. First grade class went on a shape hunt around the building and collected data for our shape brochures. We used it in our shape
primer grado fue en una búsqueda de figuras alrededor de la escuela y recolectamos data para nuestro proyecto de figuras. Fueron utilizados en nuestro museo de figuras.
Second grade just completed a Project Lead the Way module on Matter where we had to design and create a container that would keep an ice pop frozen for at least 30 minutes with no more than 20 milliliters of melting. Here's my project design.
Finally, we would like to invite all members of the school board, Dr. Newman, to Hayden Spring PBL Fair on Thursday, April 2nd, during the school day. The students will hand out invitations, and thank you so much for supporting our PBL-based learning.
Thank you. I got it. And before Round approaches the bench, I noticed that Councilwoman Davis-Younger and Councilman Smith are here, so thank you very much for being here. We appreciate it.
Good evening, Chairman Williams, Dr. Newman, members of the board. I want to thank you for having me out tonight. I feel awful lonely up here by myself. Realized I should have brought my crew with me. I'm sure our students could have told this story much better than I, so next year I'll correct that. But I stand before you today just to kind of spotlight some things that I feel really make a big difference in our school at Round Elementary. And really that's just connectedness, both for the students and the staff. It's really important for me personally, just reflecting on my experiences as a student. And it just really makes the difference, being connected and engaged both in the classroom and outside the classroom as well. So really as a staff, we've been focusing on creating opportunities for our students at all levels, pre-K through 4, that really can give all students an opportunity to be engaged, whether it's sports with basketball and soccer. We have art club, music-related clubs. This is one of our new clubs, the running club. We have boys and girls running club. And this was kind of my lead-in. That went a little bit fast. So I think it's going to keep it going. All right, we're back. So those are just the clubs that we currently have, but we're always getting feedback from students and staff, but really mainly the students as far as what interests them and what they'd like to do outside the classroom. And just personally, myself coming from Osborne High School a couple years ago to the elementary level, it's just so critical that we can connect our students now at the elementary level and maintain that connection K through 12 and really lifelong. It can really be a life-changing moment for a student to find a passion, whether that's in first grade, fourth grade, or 12th grade, and really carry that forward lifelong. So just something I really wanted to highlight and spotlight. We have our drama club as well, so the performing arts this spring. We're doing another spring musical, and we're doing 101 Dalmatians, so we're real excited about that. Book club's a new club for us this year, so the students chose their book, so we really, that student feedback is really important to us. Student leadership opportunities through broadcast and SCA you see here on the slideshow. And then like I said, the running club is by design, we've created that opportunity for students, but the where we chose to kind of orient that in the school year is leading right up to our 21st annual Shamrock Run coming up on March 21st. So just really wanted to thank the board for supporting those opportunities for our students and helping us create those opportunities. And the Shamrock Run's a PTO event, but I think it's just a great definition of the connection between school and community and how we can take that moment to bring the community together. So if you'd like to register for the race, I'll tell you right now, I'm in trouble. I don't remember the last time I've ran, but I'm running a 5K on March 21st, so hopefully I'll be with us after March 21st. But I'm going in training as part of the running club, and I got soft today because it was a little bit rainy outside, so I didn't want to injure myself. Didn't want to tire myself out for the meeting tonight, but I'm in training every Tuesday with the running club, so hopefully I can complete the race. But we're really excited about that kind of culminating event that I think really defines our school and community. As I finish up today, I just wanted to express some appreciation to the board on a personal level, just shifting gears for a moment. A couple months ago, my father passed away. And I really just wanted to take this moment to express my appreciation for Dr. Newman and the board who reached out to me. Several board members reached out to me on a personal level, connected with me, checked on me, expressed their condolences, and just really, treated me like family. And, we talk about Round as family and Manassas City as a family, and that's what it's all about, and that's what we're talking about when we say Round is family, or Manassas City as a whole, as a community, as a city is family. And so I appreciate you treating me like family, and that means a lot to me. I'll never forget that. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate that.
Mr. Williams, Dr. Newman, school board members, we want to thank you for all you do for Manassas City Public School System. Weems has decided to spotlight our book of the month, so I'm going to let our library media specialist, Mrs. Ryan Schreider, our STEM coach, Ms. Kim Ainsworth, and our student leaders tell you about it.
Good evening. My name is Shelley Ryan Schrader, and I'm the librarian media specialist for Weems Elementary School and coordinator of the Book of the Month program. As a school librarian, one of my responsibilities is fostering a school-wide reading initiative and a reading community. One of my favorite projects this year is our Book of the Month program. Book of the Month grows individual classroom libraries and enables teachers to build a core of quality books to use as anchor text for reading and mentor text for writing instruction. To implement this program school-wide, 10 picture books were selected, and my principal, Dr. Jones, purchased 2 copies of each title for each teacher in our school to put a total of 20 books in every classroom. A new book is revealed each month. Resources and materials to use with the book are provided by our math and reading coaches. I believe one of the most important aspects of the program is that it supports student connections. So I would like to now introduce our students who I believe who have made some amazing personal connections with our Book of the Month. And let me introduce Louise Almaz. Oh, excuse me. Joseph Hill, Jennifer Lucero, and Crystal Sosa Bustos. Thank you.
Good evening. Our book of the month for January was Our Tree Named Steve. It was about a tree that was very special to a family, like it was part of their family. After many years, Steve fell down in a storm, but the family figured out a way to keep Steve in their yard and in their lives. Our reading coach, Miss Roberson, read this story aloud to us and then broke us up into small groups. Each group got to visit 3 different centers in our classroom: science, reading, and math. Making connections with what we are currently learning.
Hi, my name is
Crystal in the Science Center. Mrs. Ainsworth, our STEM coach, connected the books to our current science unit. Whether she gave each of us a tree cookie, which is a slice of a tree, to observe and ask questions. By asking our questions, we could figure out a tree story if it had good weather or if it had problems growing up. For this one, we will call it had a perfect life, and this one had not too much dry. It was too dry. This one had a disease. This tree had a good life with the right amount of sun and rain because the rings are circle and not squished together.
Hello. In math, we had been working with fractions and measurement. And our math coach, Miss Burkhead, had us use our tree cookies to determine how old our tree was when it was cut down. We estimated its age 3 different ways before we decided which was the best estimate. One way was to measure the tree's circumference. Another way was to measure its diameter and multiply it by its growth factor. And the last was to count the number of rings. The circumference of this tree cookie is 8 inches. The diameter is 2.5 inches times the growth factor of 3 is 7.5. The tree has 8 rings, so the best estimate for the tree's age is 8 years old.
Hello, my name is Jennifer. We have been studying story elements in class. So in the reading center with our coach, Ms. Wilkerson, we discussed the elements of our tree named Steve. She then read another story in the Giving Tree. She challenged us to look for similar and different between the 2 stories, like the character, setting, events, and more. It was amazing to see how 2 stories could be so similar and different.
This whole lesson with the book of the month, Our Tree Named Steve, was really fun. In learning about trees, we practiced the skills from reading, math, and science that we were working on in class, which will also help us in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's give a round of applause to all of our elementary school presentations. It is not easy standing here doing that, so we definitely commend them for coming before us tonight to share those exciting things. And so we will conclude our presentations tonight with our intermediate and secondary schools in the following order. And as I said before, at the conclusion of their presentations, we'll ask the board to join all of us, and we'll take our huge picture that we can send to VSBA and also share with our community of having our students here with us tonight. So next we will have Baldwin Intermediate School, followed by Mayfield Intermediate, Metz Middle School, and Osborne High School.
Good evening, Chairman Williams, Dr. Newman, members of the board. My name is Amanda Wagner, and I am proud to serve as the principal of Baldwin Intermediate School. And in the interest of school board appreciation and showing our appreciation for you, I felt that there was no better thing that we could share than something that warms our hearts and fills us with pride about our school community under your leadership. So we started this school year with Dr. Newman sharing with us that we were spending this year building bridges. So I would like to share with you a little bit about something that Baldwin Intermediate did in the interest of building bridges. So we started the year. Something that was really important to us is that we have Husky Pride. But that doesn't necessarily just mean staff. That's equally as important for our students and our families as well. So we wanted to make sure that we started the year off right in sharing that and building bridges with our community. So we decided to take something that we do every year, a traditional thing, and make it something that we can utilize to build bridges with our families. And that was schedule delivery. So in doing that in a non-traditional model, this also exemplified teamwork within the building, from gathering neighborhoods to figuring out teams and how teams would communicate within and between one another. It also allowed us to, through that traditional model, typically families receive their schedule in the mail, and they get to see the names of the teachers and staff members with whom they'll share the next year. But in this instance, we were able to greet them and build that excitement for the school year in greeting them face-to-face and welcoming them with not only our names on paper, but smiles and welcoming them to our school community. This also was an excellent exercise in team building. The teams consisted of not only 5th grade, but 6th grade, encore, and support staff. The entire school community went out into our community to deliver these schedules. And so this was a great opportunity for staff members to get to know one another and team build, in addition to building those relationships with our students and community. When part of that was them reaching out to one another, when one group would get completed, they'd reach out to the other teams to say, hey, are you behind? Can we jump in? And stepping up and going in with the other teams to make sure that they were all delivered within the time frames that we had allocated to the community that we would be there. And that also allowed everyone to finish on time. And so that the entire staff could share a meal together. And the conversations that were had there were fantastic, because listening to staff starting off their first experience with their students and families, sharing funny stories that happened amongst one another, and amazing experiences they had with the parents and the students in delivering the schedules was absolutely phenomenal. So that's something I wanted to share with you, that I feel as though we started the year off with relationships at the center of the work that we do and building those bridges, and I truly believe that it set the tone for the year, and we continue every day to work on putting relationships at the forefront of everything that we do with our families and our students and among our staff. So I'd like to thank you all for starting our year off right.
Good evening, Chairman Williams, Dr. Newman, and Manassas City School Board. So, Dr. Wagner and Mr. Wilson, they've sort of hit on most of what I'm going to hit as well, but what I just want to do is thank the school board for making Manassas City such a great place to work, such a great community. You look around this room and that we're filled on Tuesday night is an awesome thing. How I start every meeting off is we start just by focusing on our mission. This is where we want our school to go. This is where every day we want our students to come to an environment that promotes respect, empathy, and responsibility. And what this presentation will do tonight is really show how we're focusing on that respect and empathy. And our vision for where we want to go, we really want to work on the 5 C's and creating those skills that the work environment of the 21st century needs, where our students who are graduating from Osborne High School with Mr. Pflugrath and Ms. Whitaker, they need to be prepared for this. So this is what we're trying to prepare at Mayfield. One of our big initiatives, or not even an initiative, just as our belief is, if you have a child's heart, you have their mind. It's the focus on relationships, building relationships. So this year we really looked at ways that we could foster those relationships among our students. Our kids do great things in the classroom, but we want them to remember school for all these other great events and activities and really build the relationship not only among the staff and the students, but also between the students. So, there we go. So we started with, first thing was our community engagement. We wanted to figure a way to engage with our community in a better way. So at the beginning of the year, you saw schools talk about project-based learning. Well, we went right to our staff and gave them a project to work on where they got to incorporate their own project. We broke up into 5 teams, broke the entire school division up into the 5 elementary school zones. And the teams had to create ways to go out and engage with the community and build up the excitement for the school year. Get parents and students excited about our open house that was coming. We had staff throughout the city, just everywhere. We had the city fire department helping us out. We had our Bobcat throughout the town, and we had school board members meeting us in our random places that our staff would go to engage with the community. And what really happened, and this was where we really felt that it was success, is our open house. It was the first one we've done in many years. It was 4 hours of extremely packed excitement. I mean, our parking lot was filled the entire time. I believe almost everybody on the school board was there that night just to celebrate, and it was a great way to start the school year, a great way to open our doors. And again, you're building that connection. The next thing that we really focused on is after-school student socials. And again, because of our school board giving us the ability to do this, we started the year with a student tailgate. We had a fall festival, a winter fest. We're doing a spring fling coming up, and we're doing a 6th grade formal. And we have over 300 kids sign up to attend these, and we hold them on Fridays after school. Our transportation provides us the buses, so Mr. Yankoviak in transportation does an amazing job. And this just gives us an awesome opportunity. You see our first one with the tailgate. Miss Huntley, Mr. Krismanich, Miss Maldonado working the grill, providing food for our students. This photo booth that we have there where kids can just enjoy time with their friends and get pictures to remember it, that was from Miss Whitaker at the high school. So, and then up here, we had the police department at our last one. They were giving snow cones out to kids for the whole event. It was an awesome opportunity for our students. We also really wanted to focus on our student celebrations. This month, or throughout the year, we've had Student of the Month celebrations, and we also had our semester honor roll ceremony. And if you look at this picture, this is what it looks like at every celebration now. We have an entire cafeteria packed that we're celebrating students, and we have parents coming in. We have, again, school board members coming to participate in it. We have our student assemblies, which again is another time to highlight our community with our students with our community. And a couple of these pictures I really want to focus on. On Friday we had our Black History Assembly that was put together by our staff, and it was one of the most amazing events that I've seen together. Here is Brian. He's actually an Osborne High School graduate, went through Manassas City. He performed for our students. And then he stayed all day and signed autographs during lunch and just spoke with the kids. And here's some of our presenters. It was an awesome time. Our Veterans Day parade and that you were part of. And then our Veterans Day assemblies where we have guests come to speak with our kids. And then just like Mr. Wilson said, our clubs and activities that we were able to offer. I once had a professor say that a sign of a good school, a sign of a great atmosphere is how many kids stay after school. We don't have students that are running out the door. We have students who are staying. We have clubs that fill up within a week of the teacher sending out the permission form. So we have some great things. We have our robotics. Our girls basketball program just ended today, and Miss Torres finally won her first championship, so the red team won. Mr. Krismanich just started in the 5th grade basketball program. But our choir, our music program is amazing. Our orchestra concert yesterday was outstanding. I mean, I've tried to play the violin, and it does not sound like what our 5th grade students are able to do. And finally, I mean, I think this picture sums up. We just want to thank you guys. Last year, Dr. Newman and Mr. Rupert, they came. We have sixth graders who are now able to participate in Met's middle school sports, which is an awesome opportunity, and our school board gives us that opportunity. And not only is it great for our sixth grade students that you see pictured here, but it also helps build that bridge from Mayfield to Met. And this was one of their road games, and if you see, there's Miss Farmer, one of our teachers, Miss Hall, Miss Webb, and then Mr. Moore, Miss Huntley, and myself. Because of the school board, we're also able to hire amazing teachers like these three teachers who want to come and support their students outside and give the kids that extra amount of effort. But it's because of you, because of the school board, that we're able to do this. So thank you. And as I always say, Mayfield's proud. We're proud to be part of this city. So thank you.
Good evening, Chairman Williams, Dr. Newman, members of the board. Very honored to be here today as your proud principal of Metz Middle School. So my name is Mr. Rupert, and I have some great students. And one of the things that we'd like to highlight that you all make available for us are the great programs in academia that we have at Metz Middle School. So wanted to take some time to highlight that. And we have Miss Hansey here who is going to lead that with the students. And in the meantime, as we were planning this, we got some great news that even brings in some of this program. So we're going to highlight our integrated math and science program here at Metz Middle School. And so I'm going to turn it over to Miss Hansey.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rupert. Thank you, board, Dr. Newman. How does this work? Is that just arrow? Oh, just the arrow. Okay. All right. First off, let me go back. I have to read a statement by Mr. Anthony Vargas, who's the supervisor of gifted and talented programs. So he states he wished he could have joined tonight, but he's actually at a parents' meeting about the program, something I probably should have been at, but I'm here with you guys. So I'm so proud of what the students are able to create within this course. Innovators ultimately propose new questions which help us solve world problems in creative ways. Our IMS program does not accept complacency. The coursework challenges learners to investigate, design, rethink concepts within math and science to give our students an educational experience that is second to none. Thank you for acknowledging and recognizing a piece of our advanced programs. All right. So, like Mr. Vargas said, there is no complacency in IMS. So the backbone of the IMS program is basically to promote 21st century skills within the 5 C's. Those are creativity, communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and citizenship. One of the ways the students do this is through a program called eCyber Mission. Now, I would ask, do you want to go ahead and explain what eCyber Mission is? Okay. No, I want them to participate a little bit because this is an exciting program. I really like it. Is it on? All right.
Yes.
Okay. eCyber Mission is a program where we get to invent a prototype and work on it, research on it, and make a invention that is dedicated to that is part of a problem in our community.
No, it's okay. So basically what she's saying is that students are asked to collaborate as a team. I don't want this to roll off. Okay, thanks. So they're asked to collaborate as a team, define a community-based problem, and then propose a solution to that problem. Now, once they figure out that solution that they want to pursue, then they begin designing a prototype. And then they test and retest. And hopefully they find a functional working prototype. So that being said, I have 3 teams here, one IMS 7 and 2 IMS 8, that will be briefly talking about their project. It's okay. And, but before I do that, I do want to acknowledge 4 students. I don't know if you've heard this through our communication with Ms. Raffert there. But this past weekend, we went to the Thomas Jefferson High School of Science and Technology, and all these students here were semifinalists in the Science Bee, and 4 of them actually advanced to the National Science Bee that's going to be held in Chicago, I believe mid-June. So those 4 students, if you will stand, are Isaac, Kurt, Audrey Peters, Nina Nicoletti, and Kaya Graham. They did an outstanding job, particularly Isaac Hertz. He got 2nd place overall. So congratulations to them. And without further ado, I guess we will start with you guys. I am a 7 to talk about your research, so I could push, I'll just do the slide. Yeah.
Thank you so much for letting us be a part of the eCyber mission. My name's Izzy, and when we begun eCyber mission, we knew we wanted to solve a problem in our community. So we talked to our head custodian, Mr. Peacher, and he told us that we could not recycle because there was trash contamination. As a result, we created a trash system for our solution.
We wanted to specifically have a system where plastics, paper, and regular trash could be sorted at the school. To do this, we are going to put 3 capacitive proximity sensors into the receptacle container.
These sensors will detect the dielectric constants of materials. And since paper has a dielectric constant of 2 and plastics have a dielectric constant of 3, the sensors can easily sort them. And there is more to the prototype, but that is its main function.
So these 3 visited me in the office, as with some of the teams for the cyber mission, to get my feedback. So what he just said, I just said, sure. I trust that they're doing this. But as you can see, what we have are some great thinkers, problem solvers, and leaders. And when they go away from Manassas City and they go to Thomas Jefferson School of Technology and compete, look what we're getting. Okay, we have leaders, we have great academia here at Metz Middle School.
All right. So, you guys next? Yeah, you can ask.
Mr. Ruber, why are you changing? I got Izzy's name, but I think the other 2 students' names.
Yeah, why don't you guys introduce your names when you...
Good evening. We are a program of students from the Integrated Math and Science program at Metz Middle School. In our research class, we use eCyber mission, as Ms. Nancy said, and I'm Noah.
I'm Isaac. I'm Nina. I'm Audrey.
Okay, so our project involves a substance called sonolime, which pretty much sucks in the CO2 from the environment. We use a fan that you can see on the screen to blow regular air into the sonolime. The sonolime only picks up the CO2, and then when we heat it with the hot plate there, as you can see, all the CO2 gets released and put into the spider plant that we have. And that spider plant uses the carbon from the CO2 to grow, and the oxygen gets released back into the air.
So as Isaac said, we use soda lime, which is a pretty cool chemical in my opinion. Our group is very teamwork. We really care about teamwork. In fact, we've dropped soda lime not once, not twice, but 3 times on the floor in one day because, and I believe that's because we couldn't function because our whole team wasn't there. And we've switched from using algae to using the spider plant, as Isaac explained. We found that algae just wasn't, we tried to grow it ourselves and it was hard to get a hold of and it wasn't as efficient as the spider plant was.
So our main goal through our invention is to have a decrease of the carbon dioxide in our environment, like near DC because it's such a big area. So we would connect our prototype to the exhaust pipe of a car, and it would therefore help the plants outside grow better and reduce the carbon dioxide in our area. So this project involves science of biology and then also brings in the STEM that we learn in STEM class and in IMS so that we know what we're doing.
Thank you so much.
There's still more.
Good evening. My name is Clark Jones, and I'm here with Kea Grant and Albie Gomez. And today we're going to tell you about our project. We realized that cars generate the vast majority of pollution in our area. So we wanted to make an alternative that would not generate carbon dioxide and other toxic chemicals into the air. We use a chemical process known as electrolysis to separate water into hydrogen and oxygen. Using that hydrogen, we can power an engine, and using the oxygen, people can breathe.
So I'm going to look a little bit internally into our car. So at first we were kind of looking at electrolysis, and we were like, well, we have a problem. We need more energy than we are producing. So we decided, what other way can we do to solve this? So we decided to add a solar panel. The solar panel would be at the top of the car. Now, a solar panel would directly go to a rechargeable battery. And so this rechargeable battery will power the electrolysis. And so there'll be a little wire that connect to graphite sticks, and that's what gives bubbles to be able to produce in the hydrogen and oxygen. The hydrogen will go to a hydrogen fuel cell, which will change it into electrical energy, and the energy goes to the motors to allow the car to run.
If you can go on to the next slide, please. We'll be now looking at the current prototype that we have running. So if you look on the top, we have a heat lamp, since that day was a cloudy day and we couldn't get any power, and the windows were also blocking most of our sunlight. So we have our solar panels wired up, and we had to resolder them twice because our alligator clips aren't as stable as we'd expected them to do. So we have our solar panels. They will go down to the potentiometer rig thingy that we have. It's those 4-cylinder looking things. If you look at them, because we don't have actual potentiometers yet, so those things serve as our potentiometers, and they will control the amount of energy going to the electrolysis chamber, which is the green soda cut thingy. It is water with salt water in it, and it's got 2 copper rods in it. Well, it had. We recently switched them to have graphite sticks because the coppers iodized too quickly. So we changed them, and we don't want them to kill the batteries or solar power. So that's why the potentiometers are there. And then after all that, it will feed into the voltometer to make sure it's actually running. And after it runs to the voltometer and we know we have energy, we will head over to the rechargeable batteries. It's like that grid of 5 things. And they weren't charged then, so we couldn't show you the actual thing. But it is there, it works. And we have a kill switch in case something goes wrong. It has happened before. And yes, that is our rig. As of for now, it is functioning, and we are hoping to improve it so it's more professional looking. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you to everybody for allowing us to highlight these wonderful students, and appreciate everything that you do. And I will extend an invitation. I need help if they're seeking feedback, so come see me. We'll visit together. Thank you.
No pressure that I'm holding the group, right? Mr. Chairman, Dr. Newman, members of the board, my name is Betsy Whitaker. I'm one of the assistant principals at Osborne High School, and I am here representing Mr. Mike Fruglav, our principal. So at Osborne High School, we want to congratulate you on the School Board Appreciation Month. And by doing that, we want to also acknowledge your continued support to our programs, our students, staff, and our community. By highlighting some of the accomplishments our students in the Korean Technical Education Program has accomplished so far. Over 20 CTE students will represent Osborne High School and the city of Manassas at the state competition in April. Some of these competitions are criminal justice, cosmetology, commercial photography, and EMT, just to mention a few. Your continued support has strengthened these programs. And we also want to highlight some of the project-based learning that we have done so far, and those are some of the pictures we have on the screen. Commercial photography students, they created and organized a competition that showcased photos and pictures from students, teachers, staff, and community members. Also, our carpentry program built a counseling mobile office that has been in the cafeteria to promote different activities that the counseling department is having. Also, it's going to be utilized in parent-teacher conferences and other events alike. FBLA, and along with the SEA leadership students, and a partnership with Chick-fil-A Leader Academy, they created and they work on the Kindness Rock, which is a program, a do-good program, which was sponsored throughout the city of Manassas earlier in the year. FBLA is committed, and also the SCA program is committed to sponsor service programs and projects that promote full student participation across our school division. And that's our picture with the community of Baldwin as well. We are also very proud of our robotics team, which will be competing this coming weekend in our district competition, and hopefully be able to move on to the state finals coming up in Richmond. Again, thank you for your unconditional commitment and for believing in our students. Congratulations.